What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to Prison Talk Live. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing and supporting. And thank you for making us one of the top channels on YouTube. Hope everybody had a great weekend. You did something fun with yourself. Shout out to all the Super Chat members. Blazy Creature, Thriller Miller 2, Jamie Marie, Non-Neck 66er, and Old Slider Row. Hey, shout out to all y'all, man. Thank you for being a Super Chat member and for supporting. A lot of big things going on with Fresh Out. You know, we stay dropping the content, stay with the positivity. You know, we're not promoting the bullshit. You see, I got the new Wig Splitter Crew shirt on. It's available on the website. Go check it out. Yeah, we know we've been loving the messages we've been getting there from everybody. Everybody who's been subscribing to the channel, subscribing to the website, dropping a lot of cool stuff on the interviews and with the prison talk. Make sure you guys go subscribe also to our Instagram. You know, we got a lot of things we kind of give you a heads up on when you guys subscribe to the Instagram. And, hey, man, all about, you know, pushing forward and moving beyond just jailhouse bullshit, you know. When we hit that 500,000, you know, we're still doing that $1,000 giveaway. So make sure you guys are all, you know, situated with your subscription so you don't miss out. Second place, flat screen. Third place, commissary bag. So holler at us. You know what I mean? If you got a question, go to our website, FreshOutSeries.com. Subscribe, shoot us a message. We'll get back at you. Also, you know, if you guys are trying to get out on maybe an interview or something, you know, we'll see what we can do. Hit us up at FreshOutSeries@gmail.com. On some positivity shit, if you're trying to holler at me, Big Herc 916 on YouTube. All about positivity and motivation, you know, and, you know, I keep it real on that channel. No prison shit, though. So, holler at me. Anyways, the weekend was great. Big Herc went to Barrett Jackson, hung out with a bunch of motherfucking millionaires and billionaires, checked out some cars. I didn't buy anything, but I just, you know, it kind of sparked my fire. And I always tell you, you got to be around success if you want to be successful. So, what's up with you guys, man? What'd you do over the weekend? Did you watch the Manny Pacquiao and Adrian Broner fight? Straight boo-boo. You know what I mean? Big Herc, why did you live in Stockton? Usually people only live there because I never lived in Stockton. I used to live in Sacramento. I'll do the shout outs at the end too, you guys. But yeah, man, Broner, bro, he was embarrassing. You know, I don't know what he thought he was doing. And then for him to come back and say he's a street nigga. I mean, come on, man. You got money. You ain't got to be a street nigga. And just because you go do some street shit and could possibly go to jail makes you cool? Come on, nigga. It's just like he embarrassed himself, man. You know, I'm a street nigga. Gang for real. Nigga, gang for real? You're making millions of dollars? And you want to talk about street nigga shit? Come on, man. We know where you came from, but you ain't trying to go back there. Nigga, get your mind right. Yeah, Adrian Broner is whack, man. He's a fucking embarrassing, man. And then, yeah, he got his wig split for real. Herc, get with glasses Malone. He had the plug on the rise. I know. I see he be fucking with the old school, with the race cars and shit. Broner got taught a lesson. Yeah, in a major way. Pacquiao, at 41 years old, taught his 29-year-old ass that you got to throw punches. If you don't win by dancing around the fight. What's up, Big Herc? Did you roll with a gang inside? Nope. But my cellmate at one point was in a gang, and if shit kicked off, I would have had to have his back, man. So, he said the decision wants him to go sell bricks. Oh, he's a stupid ass. What's your thought on TV shows like Prison Break and characters like Theodore Bagwell? I think it perpetuates the image of the American prison system as Hollywood. I mean, you know, to think that you go to prison and you got you got a punk holding your pocket while you walk around, you're busting another man's cheeks. That's some bullshit, man. No young person, nobody should have to, when they make a mistake, think about somebody taking their ass. That's just straight bullshit. Hollywood, the way they promote prison and the perspective, it creates this whole negative atmosphere so that people can't learn from their mistakes, become better people. It just perpetuates ignorance. Pastor Buck Canuck, thanks for the donation, man. Big Herc, do you think talking to a woman on the street is sexual harassment like the Gillette commercial is trying to portray? No, I mean, we're men. We're supposed to talk to women. I don't understand why people make such a big thing if you go talk to a girl. What do you mean? The only way you're supposed to communicate with a woman now is through a fucking app? You can only text her through an app? Email through an app? That's so fucking gay. That's some bullshit. You're a man. You see a woman. You say hi. You know, it's not like you're a fucking some fucking Martian. I mean, it's just a cordial thing you do. You talk to a woman. I mean, if you know, that's what men and women do. But, you know, everything now has become a fucking sexual harassment, man. So it's so much bullshit, man. Former CO and current police officer here. Working behind the walls was easier. Why is respect so hard to come by on the street? Because people on the street, they don't take in consideration the other person as far as, you know, they don't respect the other person as far as who they are. People on the street don't know how serious shit is, and they take a lot of shit for granted. You know, behind the wall, you know, if you owe somebody and store day comes and you don't pay, that motherfucker is going to come to your cell and split your fucking wig. On the street, I've seen it where people, and I've dealt with it in the car business, people sell you bullshit and then don't fix your car and then talk shit to you. I had a little motherfucker talking shit to me over a transmission I had done in the car, and he asked me, what am I going to do? And now there was a witness there was multiple witnesses, security camera, my car was parked on the street with license plates. You know, I did all I could to walk away, man. But that's what I'm talking about, respect, man. You don't, you know, if people had more respect, we wouldn't have half the problems we have in the world. But yeah, people on the street have no respect, and you know, it's just taken a lot more serious in prison, man. And I had to learn, like, I'm telling you, it's a hell of a thing learning not to take off on somebody because I don't want to go to jail over a sucker, you know. Somebody said talking to a woman and being a creep aren't the same. I agree. So you tell me what's being a creep. If you say, hey, hello, how you doing today? You know, like your hair, or hey, you know, nice outfit. I mean, unless you don't go up and grab her by the pussy like what Donald Trump says, or you don't say, hey, bitch, what's up with you? Or, you know, hey, you want to fuck? I mean, you know, you know what to say. If you don't come out and be brash with her, it's just being cordial. What are they willing to do when you got nothing to lose? Hey, man, you ain't got nothing to lose. You know, it's high stakes, you know, and you don't want to ever be in that position, man. It's not worth throwing your life away over, you know, somebody because you're trying to prove something. You know, when you think you have all this life to live, you know, everything is perpetuated by fear. Once you get rid of fear and you start, you know, stop using that unoccupied space in your brain to control you, man, everything can be positive in life, man. And that's what I learned in prison. In prison. Rodriguez, DWP, thank you, man. A lot of COs have better interpretation skills than cops. I would agree, man. I mean, you know, COs having dealt with a certain level of individual, you know, the mentality is different. The way they approach a conversation, a situation is different. If you haven't had interaction with a lot of individuals and you're scared, you're gonna shoot. You're gonna choke them out. You're gonna, you know, I've seen guys, fucking big motherfuckers, and CEOs talking to them, and they just having a conversation. The average person would have been reaching for their gun, but that's the difference. In prison, you can't just, it's a different situation than on the street where, people just react. You can't, reaction in prison it leads to a lot of other shit. Brian Phillip, thank you for donation. Hey, Big Herc, what do you think about the young generation of rap? The young generation of rap, man. I can't take nothing away from these youngsters out here rapping, man, getting money. I praise them. I just hope that they're doing something to secure their financial future. I'm not gonna hate on them, man. When I was growing up, it was Too Short, 2 Live Crew, NWA, King T, Ice-T, and my mom used to say, man, you're not gonna listen to that in my house. Turn that music off. I used to catch a lot of shit. And, I realized, kind of like what she was trying to convey, but every generation has their own, style of music, man. And, when you listen to music for entertainment, it's entertainment. Realistically, what dumb motherfucker is going to be running around with a real gun doing this? Oh, come on, man. You want to go to prison? You stupid motherfucker, go get a permit. Get you a permit, carry your gun, and then use it for something you're gonna, realistically. But to run around and say that, you shoot everybody that you have a problem, that's ignorant, Big Herc, does skateboarding translate over to snowboarding? I haven't tried snowboarding yet, and I know that your feet are in a fixed position, and you got to kind of balance off your back of your other pivot foot. So I'm not sure, man. I haven't skateboarded in a long time. I got a skateboard in the garage, and man, but just balancing because I'm a lot bigger dude. It's different. Hey, Big Herc, I've been a victim for 3 years. I called the cops more than 50 times or more. I even went to the police station. They didn't do anything about it. Now, if I do something about it, will I go to jail? Hey, man, record this. You have a record. You've reported it. Hey, you have a right to protect yourself, man. Get you an attorney and let them know, like, if something goes down, this is what you want to happen. But I don't think anybody should have to deal with a motherfucker intimidating them, terrorizing them, stalking them. It's just, you shouldn't have to live like that. Why should you have to live like that with a fucking idiot? It's like, goddamn, man, you want to keep coming around here, I'm going to split your fucking wig. One Southsider player, thank you for the donation. Herc got the light in the black and still blacker than, oh, you like that, huh? Salute, big homie. Melon wig splitter, huh? You got jokes. I hear you. I'm a former detective. Where do you think money should be spent in the penal system? To be honest, man, I think the money in the penal system should be spent on courses dealing with human communication skills, because a lot of guys in prison have no idea how to communicate. And I think that if they focused, the amount of money they spend to house a prisoner could be basically equivalent to sending them to, Santa Barbara College or, UCLA for a year. So why not spend that money on people who can help as far as with the classes? And if you want to rehabilitate, you want to learn how to be an entrepreneur, you want to learn skills, life skills, home economic skills, parenting skills, you should have those options. And for the motherfuckers who want to gangbang, hey, let them go somewhere else, man. Let a person prove if they're trying to get their points down and are trying to rehabilitate. And that way they're not forced to be a part of a system or a group of individuals who never want to change. Some people never want to change. They want to still do dope. They want to still gangbang. And they really don't care about going home and being better because they're not going to do anything with themselves. You know what I'm saying? These people are pretty much, they're stuck. So for those who aren't stuck, so they don't feel the pressure, let's give them an opportunity to do something else, man. Spend the money on education, different courses. Let's give these guys, the more educated you are, the more rational you're going to act in regards to your actions. You're not going to be doing a lot of stupid shit if you really have educated yourself reading Napoleon Hill, Deepak Chopra. You'll start looking at human beings different. You're not going to want to go and just stab somebody and gangbang all fucking day. You'll be like, man, this shit is stupid. Let me focus on some things I need to do so I can take care of my kids. Javi M, thanks for new membership, man. Herc, I'm thinking of being a CO. What advice could you give me? A group in LA in the hood. Why you want to be a CO, man? Go be a youth counselor. Be a probation officer. Help these young people before they get to the pen. Why you want to voluntarily lock yourself up to go to work, man? I mean, I wish we didn't have no fucking prisons except for the people who really have to be there. I mean, how long does it take for a person to learn their lesson, man? Why do we have to go through all this, man? You know what I mean? You get to county and you're fucking intimidated and you're dealing with all this bullshit, politics. Don't pass your food, shut your mouth. You say something, you might get fucking beat down. Why would you go through all that? Work with people on the street, man. Find you a job where you're free. Psychologically, man, it's not a good look, man. How hard would you say it is to get put in a super shitty place and be told to get better? It's fucking hard, man. It's fucking hard. Every day I meditated and I basically tried to put out good energy so that I didn't let prison become my persona. A lot of people, they can't take it, man. They lose it mentally. They become institutionalized, and they can't handle the prison environment. Even if they seem like they handle it, when these people get out, they're stuck. You know what I'm saying? They don't have the ability to become socially integrated individuals. And so, I had no visits in prison. I had very little, contact. I had a couple of friends that wrote me, but it took everything I had, all the strength I had to keep my mind strong and not consider myself a felon or a convict, an inmate, and just try to think positive, man. It's hard. A lot of people can't do it, man. Are you going to bring back Car Hustle on Fresh Out? I might. We're working on some stuff. We're going to see whether we can make that feasible. But Big Herc 916, I do put car stuff on there, so check on that YouTube from time to time and see what I have on there. Somebody said, "What's your opinion on Oak Park?" I don't really have an opinion, man. I know that they're doing a lot of gentrification out there. They're moving people out. They're bringing in new development, and they're shrinking these hoods, man. It's money, and people want to have a safe environment and economics. It's the same thing they're doing out here. They tear down the old buildings, new buildings go up, and rent goes up. Yeah, I can't stand up when family or whatever it wants to give you tough love. That's the worst to get when you're in prison. The tough love treatment. Yeah, it just takes you got to really be strong mentally. And, I tell you right now, in prison, when you get a letter or when you talk to somebody on the phone, on the street, that can actually mean the difference between you going to go stick somebody over some shit that happened a week ago, or you saying, you know what, I got something to look forward to. That could be the biggest thing, man. You get that little piece of mail, it could be a game changer. So, communicating with people in prison that are family members, You know, they made a mistake, man, and if you know you can rationalize that mistake, they didn't ever cause you any type of harm. You know, you give them the benefit of the doubt, man, and see if they'll turn their life around. You know, I've gotten relatives, a relative that did some time, man, and I try to reach out, and you know, he knows I have all this information, but in order for this person to make a change, they have to want to change. Some people don't want to change, man. Some people are afraid of change. They're comfortable. Alex Starvo, thanks for the donation. Oh, you asking about the Japanese coochie, huh? You got to go to the super chat, window, man, and check out some of the cheek busting stories. A bad letter could be a new charge, could mean going to the hole for a couple months for sure. Yeah, you're right. You're right, man. Somebody said much of LA is already gentrified. It ain't the same as it was a decade or two ago. It's a different city. Gangbanging is dead. I agree, man. I mean, you know, there's cameras everywhere. People are telling, you know, they're filming fights. It's like, man, find something else to do, man. Do something constructive with your time, you know. It's cool. I know everybody wants to try to be this tough guy or have a reputation. I mean, you're so fucking young, man. You know, find you a hobby. You know, get into something that's going to be, more exciting for your life besides, you know, some violent dumb shit, you know? You need a why in your life. Why I'm going to get straight. Why for my family. That's why. That's my why. Yeah, you need a why, but you also gotta do something for you. You gotta take responsibility, man. You gotta accept, you know, that you made a mistake and that you want to change. Somebody said, how does government shutdown affect things, inmates, correctional officers, and federal prison? I'm not sure. I know national parks. You know, I got a relative that works for the government, and they're not getting paid right now. So until they, you know, reopen, they're not getting a paycheck, man. So I don't know how that's gonna, you know, I know they're supposed to get paid retroactively when the government does open back up, but you know, it's pretty sad, man. Somebody said, does insanity plea ever work? Not really, you know, unless you somehow got this attorney that can diagnose you as being, psychologically unstable. Emmanuel 40 History Talk, thanks for donation. Herc 1, I have whenever you get a chance. What's your take on rapper SPM that got sentenced 45 years in prison for impregnating a minor? Was also accused of molesting a 7-year-old. He pled innocent though. I don't know, man. I heard his story before. I know he's been down a long time. I don't know what were the particulars of his case. I'm not a lawyer. I haven't read his paperwork, so I can't really say. I don't know, man. Every case is different. You know, you hear stuff, and a lot of times what the media puts out there is not what the case is about. So, you know, once you start reading the discovery and you see really what the particulars are, it's a totally different situation. Somebody said East Oakland can't be gentrified. Maybe downtown and west side, but the west used to look like third world back in the day. It had to happen. I hear you. Bro, did you do your homework on me? Big Herc, when rapper Guerrilla Black gets out of prison, are you planning on interviewing him? I didn't even know Guerrilla Black was in prison, man. That's crazy. Used to sound like Biggie, man. I remember Guerrilla Black. He used to spit. What you think on rapper 6ix9ine getting charged with RICO case for being involved with, dude, you know, you run around, you're doing stupid shit. You know, you best believe they got the hip hop police, the feds is watching. I mean, you know, why would you do all that to try to sell records? And now, you know, all that money you made is gonna equivalent to shit because you're in prison and now you got to deal with barbarians who are ready to fucking crack your fucking head. You know, people who don't rationalize, and you got 6'9" tattooed on your face. Fuck, man, you're fucked. You got that color hair, you better cut all that shit off. I mean, you made a mockery of the whole the street code, you know, and now you're into the deepest place where the streets are basically, which basically breeds the streets. It's pretty fucked up, man. Mark Faves, thanks for donation. How you get hooked on Blackie? Somebody referred us to him, man, and he reached out and we did an interview. Ari, thanks for the donation. Cliff Harv, thanks for the donation. Glad you started your channel. I've gotten a lot of answers to questions I've had. Peace. Hey, man, thank you, man. Thanks for supporting. I had a friend who got out of Big Spring today, did 2.5 years, and no one ever knew he was a police officer. Pretty crazy, man. You never know. A lot of people keep it on the low. Big Herc, there's a dude known KN YouTube with your picture telling people he's a black Daniel from South Stockton. I don't know who that person is. I haven't seen that. He ain't got my picture. Tavo, thanks for the donation. Big Herc, interview Border Brothers or Pisces, fresh out of prison. And I'm from Stockton, but not a northern or southern, just a block dude. Hey, have them get at us. You know, I'm down to interview anybody who has a story who's interesting. I can't interview, you know, everybody. But if your story's interesting, we can schedule you in. I'll interview you. But yeah, I would love to hear a story, you know, from either Border Brother or Paisa, you know. Ari, thanks for the donation. I'm not sure, man. We'll try to figure out. Right now, we got so many other people we're trying to give a platform to. We're trying to make sure we hear from a lot of different people. See, the thing is, like, I bring people like Bounce Back B, Badger, Blackie, different people onto the channel so that you can hear their perspective. You know, my perspective of prison is totally different. It's so far to the right because the way I carried myself, the things I focused on, and, you know, some people might experience things differently than I did. I wasn't involved in a lot of the bullshit. I was focused on, one, me being a better person, making better decisions, being more spiritual. 2, being successful when I got out. 3, getting out. So that was my focus. I wasn't involved in the hanging out, the drugs, any of the bullshit. I focused strictly on surviving and getting out of prison, being successful. That's it, man. I wasn't trying to hang out. I wasn't telling war stories. I wasn't walking the track on the yard with a bunch of motherfuckers. That wasn't me. Let's see. Herc, are you going to bring back spread videos? We're working on it, man. We would like to get some spread videos jumping off again, man. So we're going to try to get that cracking, man. Nothing cool about gangs, guys. Come on. Hey, I agree, man. I mean, if I'm going to be a part of any organization, it's going to be the Billionaires Boys Club. You know what I mean? People get, you know, some guys getting money, or, you know, some type of, collective corporation that's involved in mentoring young kids and being, you know, and being successful. I don't give a fuck about the streets, man. You know, I've seen them, but it's not like, it ain't nothing to fucking write about, you know what I mean, as far as the glamorize. I would like to see, you know, a lot of these guys take all those skills and put it into something useful so that they can be successful. You should try to find a way to get in contact with the dude who inspired the movie White Boy Rick. You know, White Boy Rick, I haven't seen his movie or read the book, but he was a snitch, man. He ratted on a bunch of people. He's in the feds or in prison now. And the thing is, like somebody else mentioned, man, I believe it was Little D, and they do movies about these guys, Whitey Bulger, White Boy Rick, these guys who ratted, these guys who work for the feds and got all these people busted, but yet they were still doing the same shit. Why not make a movie about the guys who didn't rat, who came out, who made themselves a better people, and helped other people become better people? Let's talk about the guys who were solid. If I want to really, I don't want to talk to a motherfucking rat. I want to talk to a guy who was solid, who stood his ground, and he got out and basically can look at you in the face. You know, why not make a movie about a solid motherfucker? You know, not about a motherfucker who was trying to be a gangster and then told on everybody so he can continue to do what he's doing. That's a piece of shit, man. It's all good, man. I didn't see the documentary on R. Kelly, but I know he was out of pocket. And the thing about the R. Kelly documentary on Lifetime, and now they're trying to bring up all these charges. Why weren't the motherfucking parents trying to whoop R. Kelly's ass? If your daughter is 14 years old and this old ass nigga's coming over there in a Maybach and he's trying to get your daughter to go with him to go hang out, you're out of pocket if you're a dad, if you're a mom, and you did nothing about it. R. Kelly should have been he should have had his wig split a long time ago by somebody's brother, father, mother, uncle, cousin, somebody, if he was out of pocket like that. So people, man, you know, whether he was paying them or whatever the case may be, it's like, come on, man. Motherfucking fuck with my little daughter or my sister under it, man, I'm gonna bust his fucking shit, man. Herc, can you get your wig split if you watch Kardashian show, gossip shows, or chick flicks in the TV room? Will you be seen at the park? If you go to a TV room and you're not a person authorized to fuck with that TV and you put it on some bullshit, you'll be sitting there watching TV and I seen a dude get straight side swiped. I'm talking about dome call out of the blue. You cannot fuck with a TV. And you better not put it on no gossip bullshit without permission. And on another note, I've seen a guy literally watch something on the Kardashians or read an article, and another guy and him got into a discussion. This guy wanted to fight this guy over what he's seen on TMZ or what he read in a gossip magazine. That's what type of mentality you're dealing with in prison. You got guys willing to fight you over a fucking Kim Kardashian story. Hey, man, it's an insane place, man. Same place. Big Herc, you know Gangster Dre star on the Magnus Law? I didn't go look him up. I got to go with the Rams, man. I'm out here in L.A. Somebody said, what's the craziest shit you've seen in the feds? I seen a motherfucker get, basically get stomped out right in like a blind spot and during a movement. He owed money and he was trying not to pay, so he would go from work back to the unit to work. He wouldn't go to chow. A motherfucker caught him coming out of work and they split his wig, man. Blood everywhere. He was laid the fuck out. That's what happens. I got a question. Let's say you're on a conspiracy charge because your dog, all the evidence on him, but aside to that, you're all both caught. They all have the evidence. One wants to plead in the other trial. If you're on a conspiracy, man, and somebody's snitching, you're fucked. That's how they do it, man. They get one guy to turn over. He'll rat on everybody else. He'll still get 20 years. I seen a guy take a deal for 15, 17 years. He told on his whole crew, and he still got 20 years, man. Damn near 20 years. Or 15 years, yeah. And he told on a bunch of people. So you tell, and the thing is, the world is small now. You get out, you get on Facebook, you have Instagram. A motherfucker will find you and, and bust you out. So once you're a rat, you're always a rat. Dude, and it's no justification. Just stay out of crime. Leave the game alone, man. Go get a fucking job. Don't put yourself in a position where you're gonna, have to cross people up like that, man, and think that it's cool. Alex Starvo, thanks for the donation. Yeah, you do have dental care in prison. Hey, let's get into the shout-outs, y'all. It's about that time. Somebody said, my cousin did 10 years of being a wheelman and drive-by in Canada. Shooter missed and hit a woman in the back, paralyzing her for life. He was working for the Montreal Mafia at the time. Yeah, man, you don't matter. You're driving, you're a passenger, you're still getting the same time, man. Heard there's a lot of Indians in prison because they live on federal land. How are they in prison? They all stick together. The natives, man, everything committed on the reservation is committed a federal crime. So you could be drunk in public or, some crazy DUI on the reservation, and they'll send you to federal prison on the from the reservation. So it's fucked up. You got a lot of Native Americans with bullshit crimes. I knew a guy, I guess he was drunk driving, hit somebody, killed him. He's in federal prison. So, yeah. Shout out to Bakersfield. Shout out to 313. Shout out to Stockton. Shout out to France. Shout out to Hawaii. Houston, Texas. 909. Detroit. San Francisco. Toronto. Brooklyn. 313. Chicago. Nashville, Tennessee. Oak Park, Sacramento, North Highlands, Milwaukee, 818, Saskatoon, Canada, LA, 619, UK, Monteba, Alameda, Colorado Springs, Pittsburgh, California, 215, Australia, New York, Salt Lake City, Orlando, 530, New York, 415, hey, man, East Oakland, Fresno, San Bernardino, Seattle, Washington, Tacoma, Ottawa, hey, man, Connecticut, London, England, Tottenham, London, Orlando, Sydney, Bmore, Compton, California, 727, South Carolina, Stockton, Vancouver, Rockville, Maryland, 501, North Carolina, U.S. Army, Beverly Hills, Portland, Washington, hey, man, Weed Patch, California, Hayward, hey, man, Melbourne, Hong Kong, Fort Worth, everybody who tuned in, Atlanta, hey, Arizona, love y'all, man, Little Rock, Lafayette, Indiana, Qatar, West LA. Be back not next week, the week after, every other week now, because, we're trying to bring you guys more, interviews and prison stories and shit like that. So every other week, we'll give you a head up. Appreciate you guys, man. Thanks for tuning in. You got any other questions, send it to the website, FreshOutSeries.com. Also, make sure you guys subscribe to our Instagram, FreshOutSeries, and our Twitter, FreshOutSeries. Everybody have a great week, man.